Okay. Did you get the notification?
Yeah.
Does it say?
Says we're live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, I'll say it again. I'm Sheila Corona. This is Chris J. This you are watching New Light Streaming Love Morning Mojo Live. This is a new thing we're trying. And now if I could just pull us up over here so I can see the chat. Um, so we were chatting a little bit this morning about, and I think the beef tallow is a good thing to chat about because the fact that you found it I want to say about the same time as I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there we go.
And
Now I
I
can,
haven't even done like that much research into it, but I still was like, immediately when I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna get this.
hey, wait a minute. That still says, is it showing us live on New Light Streaming Love?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm on New Light. No, that was from yesterday.
Yeah, we're live. I hadn't
Oh,
even
okay,
had
there it
to.
is. Nope, that's I tell you what. For some reason, see, my tablet stopped working too, so I have no way of seeing our um I have no way of seeing our it is marked as public, right? Let me see if I can see this over here somehow. Can you see comments?
Yeah. I mean, not that anybody's commented, but I'll comment.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, I can see that. Now why is that not? Oh, there it is. You know what it is? It takes a longer time to load on my phone,
Mm.
which is weird because now when after that I went back in and I could see it. Okay. So, welcome everyone. Sorry for the delay there.
Hey, on your phone, make sure sometimes oh, I'm over here. If you look right here, the bar, it might be red and it might be like somewhere over here. If you slide it to the end, then it'll catch it up a little bit.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I thank you for doing this with me because it actually
Yeah.
is giving me a little purpose in the morning, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And today, what's so funny, okay, so first of all, you and I set this up. Let's share with everybody what happened this morning. We set this up so that whoever wakes up first will reach out to the other
Hmm.
and we'll see where we are and whether or not we're down for going live, right?
Right.
So I wake up, I reach out to you, and just as I'm getting ready to hit send, I see, you know how it does on your phone.
Yeah, the
I could
bubble.
tell you were in the chat typing, and I was like, and then you came back and said the exact same thing, and then LOL that
Hmm.
we had both just woke up. Now, you also said that you felt like a train had hit you, but
Oh
you were
my
still up for going
gosh.
live.
Yes. I woke up several times through the night feeling like, what is happening here? Like
Really?
my whole body, it it hurts so bad. I mean, even my hand, like I have never felt something like this. Even my hands, like my dog came up to try to get me to pet him, and I couldn't even like open my hands to like pet him. Like everything hurts. Everything. And
Something
I'm actually
interesting.
proud of us for even being here because I think typically me and you both would have been like, Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I'm in too much pain, like something's going on. But the fact that we both are right here, right now.
Well, you're so right because typically I would say, "Oh, I can't. I just can't,"
Yeah.
because even the sound of my own voice right now, my head is still very bangy.
Well,
And
you know what I had to do last night? It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I've had this massive headache for 6 days now, and I woke up in the middle of the night and it was just throbbing so much so that I was like looking up like aneurysm symptoms, like what is actually happening here? Like this hurts, and I forgot that couple of months. You remember how I was up there one time and I had that throbbing headache and I would get nauseous and then I had to go to the bathroom, right? And that wasn't the first time that that particular thing had happened. And so I've experienced these headaches before that are so extreme, they don't go away until I vomit. And so my doctor had given me how they have the triptans stuff for if you feel a migraine coming on, you go ahead and take it. And so I had that up there, and it was like last resort. I was like, I forgot about this, but I'm about to take this thing, and I don't like them because it makes my whole body feel like sand, and it is just the weirdest freaking feeling. Everything feels like mush and like sand is just running through my bloodstream or something. It's so weird. But I wound up taking one because that headache was just it was beyond. I mean, literally, I was sitting there Googling aneurysm symptoms, like,
well, I got to be honest with you. For me personally, I've been told internally because I'm having troubles with headaches as well. And I've been told internally what the issue is, and I'm working towards rectifying it. For me, it is a matter of lymph. The lymph fluid is, when I lay flat, it pools and it tends to pool up here right now. There's other things that are, um, I'm actively now slowly trying to do some detoxing of parasites, because I'm telling you, everywhere I
I've
look,
been called to
everybody's
do that
talking.
too.
Right. Everybody's talking about it, number one. And number two, I've been being led for some time to do some sort of a parasite cleanse. I was collecting, it takes me a while to gather the things that I need because of my income level being where it is. And so I just, slowly gather things so that I can do things. So, and that's what I was telling myself that uh, but it has gotten to the point now where I know that I'm so loaded with these parasites. In my case in particular, you can't go killing them off willy-nilly.
Yeah, the
Because
die-off will be extreme.
exactly. So
You
there's,
have to have a binder to bring that stuff out.
and I feel as though, um, again, for me specifically, I am not a doctor. I'm not giving any medical advice. Let's just make sure everybody gets that on board real quick because the truth of the matter is they go after you when you talk about stuff. But I look at my life, especially now that I'm 63 and have no responsibilities other than myself, as a time to experiment. I didn't do that when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. That's generally when folks experiment with their bodies and their consciousness and whatnot. And I didn't do any of that. But now I feel free and actually much better equipped for doing stuff like that. And so I know that I have to go slow about it too because of all the damage that's been done to my body, right? So the internal uh, word that I've been getting is that especially the massive headaches, because what I've done is I sit and I watch myself. Um, it all of this, including the parasites, by the way, are aggravated by the sun. Whatever is happening with the sun affects my body, may not affect anybody else's, but because of my situation, because of my intense amount of pain that I had for years and years and years. I mean, in 2014, I came off of 5 different pain medications, ones that I were hopelessly addicted to. Right. And I promised myself then that I would never go back. When I started learning about what I had done to my body through all those years, all those surgeries, all those medications, all of that stuff, unless I break a bone or have an aneurysm or something like that, this old gal ain't going back to the doctor. If I got a headache that's taking me out, time to go. Time to go. Must be time to go.
I
Because I'm
mean, honestly, I said that last night too. Like, if this is it, like,
let's
okay,
go.
farewell. I mean,
No, I'm serious. I know a lot of people aren't there, and that's cool. And I'm not telling anybody to get there. Everybody has to do this at their own pace and what they feel. But I have gotten in here now into this physical vessel, and I listen to it and I pay attention to it. Finally, there are some things that I still am not doing that I know I need to be doing, right, to make myself feel better. A lot of that has to do with the fluid intake, water intake for me. That's a big one, especially since I already know.
I did good
I
yesterday after you had asked me that. I really, really upped it.
Well, see, and it is the same for me too. So there's a again, because I know this and I'm not doing it, there's got to be other reasons too,
Reason, yeah.
right? So I'm not sure what they are, but I'm not going to be upset with myself. Just going to watch what I'm doing and take note and puzzle piece collect because really that's all I can do, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I know that it's a lymph, especially like I said, right now, my own voice, it's like causing echoes sort of in my ears and reverberating around in my head. And that, I took a kratom, so the headache's almost gone.
That's good.
But I can feel it. I can feel it
Yeah.
in all of these,
Yeah.
and we have lymph glands in the skull as well that are also very close to the sinus cavities, I feel. And they all get full of this stuff. So after I wake up and I sit upright, take a kratom, hang out here with you, the headache begins to, that's the other way, I know. Then it
Like
becomes sort of
dreaming.
low, right. And then it becomes sort of low level in the background. Sometimes it disappears altogether, right? But right now, the last couple of days, this is what it's been.
Yeah.
So I, because of the aggravation of the parasites from the sun, that's the other thing. I've opened up a dialogue with them. They're inside my body too. They are living beings, same as I. I apparently invited them in, and now I'd like for them to go. We're going to work on it together, just like anything else. For me, this is what I've come to. Everything has consciousness,
That's
every
a really
single
cool way
thing.
to think about it. It is.
Yes, and ask them to work with me and not against me because, quite frankly, my body is loaded and they can't all leave at once.
Have you ever done a parasite cleanse?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No, I haven't. And I want them to actually guide me. I realize that this means that they have to move along into some other sort of form, but it is my domain while I did invite them in, it is still my domain. And they are going, whether they kill off the host or not, they're going. So why not open up a dialogue and say, hey guys, thanks for what you've imparted to me, but I'm complete and I would like for you to move along. I think that there's a way, see, instead of Oh, that's silly and that's goofy. Okay, well, I ain't asking you to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk to you. I'm handling that's see, that's the thing with me. I ain't asking nobody to do none of this. It's all me. And
Right.
it ain't costing nobody out there nothing. It's all me.
Right.
So, and quite frankly, I haven't had an ibuprofen, so much as an ibuprofen, since 2014. Not for nothing, but I'm not supposed to be on this planet. I should be gone, according to all the medical professionals. So I'll take my odds.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Hmm. So, yeah, well, here's the other thing I noticed about since you and I decided to do this. I feel even more solidly in here. You know, my innate is really, really the higher portion of me feels very pleased with what we're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Another thing about everything that's going on, I feel like there's a big reason why we've chose to do this at the timing that it is. But also this morning, I was feeling a lot of pressure within the heart space, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Because again, it reminded me of the whole BQH thing, the heart space, that chamber, the void, the brain synapses going off. Like there's something that relates to that that's actually happening here.
Yep.
And maybe we chose to do this right now. We've known, and we've experienced ourselves when we get even just like this, when we get in each other's field and just have the conversation, there are codes being bounced back and forth to help both of us.
Yep.
And I feel like something is actually occurring there. Like we're assisting each other in this I must say it's like a light bursting from the heart chakra, from that chamber. Something is physically happening, spiritually happening, energetically happening, and for me, it relates to the whole headaches and the brain thing going on too. I don't know exactly what is occurring, but I can feel that.
Right. Well, that's why I say for me, I know the internal message I keep getting has to do with the purging, not just of the parasites, but of everything that no longer serves. I mean, we're getting that
Yeah,
information through channelings. We're getting that information through
yeah,
the alignments in the planets. We're getting this information for hey, 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 in the out there. Look at what's going on, what we're getting ready to do. Whether anybody cares for it or not, there's a change coming. Politically, there's all sorts of.
spiritually.
Yes, there's a whole lot of that sort of thing. So my message internally about the purging and the cleansing and the lymph in particular, like I say now, anytime I have this sort of pain, uh, with I know that it's the lymph, but there's also a certain uh, okay, this is going to sound weird, I know, but when you have postnasal drip drainage. Again, puzzle piece collector, I pay attention, very close attention to what is happening within me. And I ask those questions that I'm asking that you taught me how to ask to do internal shadow work also works to speak to my body
Yeah,
and everything else as well. And I keep being told that when it changed, the postnasal drip changed, it became thicker, felt um, like it had some kind of, there was a nastiness in it that I don't know how to explain. And I was told then that what I was experiencing was a detoxing of my pineal. Okay, so it's different things. There's a lot going on internally. This is a galaxy, a universe in its own right. And again, why I said yesterday about that article about the scientists telling us that we're in this giant cosmic void. And you know, it feels to me like when I feel into these sorts of things, that everything I see out here is a reflection in many ways of what I'm moving through internally. And ever since it's a perspective, right? A lot of folks say, "Well, you've changed." No, I stepped over to the side and saw things from a completely different perspective.
Right.
And I really think that that's what a lot of this is the detoxing of old perspectives, old ways of seeing things. But you gotta want to see. You gotta want
Right.
to, and that means everything within too. And that's why I think a lot of well, we get taught that from a very early age too. So unless there's a willingness to see that programming, um, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that's where we are so far this morning. um,
Just trying to figure things out.
mm, looking for that morning. I didn't know what to call this. That's why I went ahead with Morning Mojo again, because honestly, trying to figure out about getting I don't like the idea of saying it's time to make the donuts, because that's not the way I feel about this. But if you are a being that has to make the donuts and get up feeling the way I did, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how I certainly wouldn't be motivated to go to a job
Right.
like that. Mm.
Yeah.
So I was sitting here the whole time, and my roomie deck, she's screaming at me.
Okay.
So I wanted you to pull a card today too, if you didn't mind.
See if
Um,
I feel anything, it's been
yeah, if you're not feeling it, don't. That's for sure. Because oh, did you hurt your arm, your
Oh my
shoulder?
gosh. This is crazy. My kids' artwork.
Oh, I
Look at
love that.
that.
Oh, I love that.
I'm not sure which way it goes.
Well, that reminds me of the Topsy Turvets card that
That's good. It does, don't it?
yes,
It has
yes,
some meaning
because
each way you turn it. That's cool.
well, oh, wait a minute, hold that back up. Whose artwork is that? Quinley's?
Uh-uh. Jaws.
John?
I was
That
like,
actually
should I call
could
him
be.
Keegan or should I call him Jaws?
Well, I like Keegan. That actually would be a really cool. Oh man, there's a lot in that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read
Really cool.
that? Did you
Huh?
read that? That's his artwork. He's not copying anything. It's just right out of his head.
I don't know. Honestly, it was just tucked right here in front of my tarot
Well,
card.
that boy, I'm telling you, if I was reading that like a tarot card, whoo-wee,
Yeah.
that's good.
You
He's a
know
powerful.
what? Like for real, look at it though. If you turn it this way, it's almost like you got to release. There's a huge purge happening here. It
Uh-huh.
also like trickles down into the root chakra, your safety, your sense of security, your sense of groundedness. Of
Yep.
course, if we're not feeling our feelings, then we're kind of all over the place. We're definitely not grounded. And
No.
then also you were talking about the third eye purge, like there's a lot going on in this.
No,
People
there
really,
is. And the way you turned it, okay, I saw something else in there too. I saw speaking from the third eye, because the
yeah, that's what I
Topsy
was about to say
Turvets.
with this one. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yep,
And it
exactly.
also has that reference to as above, so below, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
It's really
listen,
cool.
don't let him see this video unless he's already watching it or hearing us talk, and ask him. I would love for him to explain his drawing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's really cool.
as in my view, um, young ones, children, the littlest ones are the closest still to the God frequency, but and have less programming and conditioning, and therefore are the purest points
Hmm.
of information. Um, people di- people tend to discount the fanciful stories of children. Boy, if you would just pay a little closer attention, you'd learn us something.
Right. They've taught me all kinds of stuff. I'm
Oh,
telling
I
you.
bet with artwork like that coming in, oh my word, yes, I could see that for sure. Well, the Passion of the Wild Red Mother is what came out of the Rumi deck
Wow.
today, and my goodness, I love this card number 36. Numerologically, that's a 9, so that's very interesting. Don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. Behold the glowing effects of it in the eyes of drunks. Rumi. Um, I saw a post in a Facebook group I belong to the other day. This gal was talking about how she she went somewhere and she said it was like everybody, she said every head in the room followed her when she walked in the door. And I've had that experience.
Hmm. I
I've
have to.
had that experience, and it ain't because I'm that cute, because I ain't that cute. I might be cute, but I ain't that cute, okay?
It's the aura.
And it's not just the physical turning of the head, it's the energetic following that I can feel, right? That has happened more times than not, right? And at first, I always thought it was because of well, I was 490 pounds at one point. I knew people were looking at you. You ain't walking in a room without people looking at you when you're 490 pounds. So you get used to that, right? But I've been this size now for at least, maybe a little bit larger and a little bit smaller, but at least 15 years, right? So that has gone, that whole thing has gone, except that now, and it's different ways at different times, that when the divinity is riding high within the vessel, it can be felt. And that's what I feel like this Rumi quote is speaking to here. Behold the glowing effect of it in the eyes of drunks. So bring me your unreasonableness, your insanity, your love without reason, and your passion. The passion that makes you crazy and shoos all logical restraint from your mind. Leave your ordered thoughts, sensible plans, and appropriate attire at my door. Put on your animal fur and sing to me in gibberish. Oh boy, I would love that. Wouldn't you? I mean, I'm sorry, but the feel of this, what it gives me, I just love it. When my beautiful goats die, I make drums from their skins, and their spirits live on in my passionate play. When my birds drop their feathers, I gather them and put them in my hair. Come drum with me as I place feathers in your hair, and we honor the spirits of my animals, of your animal nature too, wild and free as you are in truth. Stick your tongue out and growl at those who try to tame you with guilt, shame, and fear. Do you think I give a damn for any of their silly games? Oh God, that's so true for me now. I can't
Mhm.
even. Those games of reason and logic, Of course, you should do it this way, they say. That is my worst thing. My way is the best. I stood with my hands on my hips one time and said, this is my way or the highway. Y'all can just do it the way I say or get the F out. I'm serious. I've done that in my life. I have said those words. Do it this way. It makes sense. But I care not for what makes sense. I care for what brings you alive. You, oh blazing angel, are being invited by the wild red mother to participate in a dance of divine passion. You may be an activist, a poet, an advocate for justice, or a writer, content, content in your own world of dreams, or perhaps you are a healer devoted to the liberation of the suffering of others and hungry to commune with ancient wisdom. Perhaps you are all of these, or some other exquisite amalgam of holy energy in form. Whatever your nature, there is passion in your heart, a fire for something more powerful than fear that can become the fuel for your life journey. If you accept the invitation of the wild red mother, of course, this is the invitation to lay aside despair, to lay aside doubt in the capacity of the human heart, even your frustration and impatience. It is time to quit whipping yourself and others. Oh boy, because if you whip yourself, you should look around because you are whipping others. But I'm telling you, that's a true statement.
Yep.
I know that for a fact because I'm telling you, I've whipped a lot of folks, but I've not whipped anybody harder than I have myself. Because we can't give or do what we can't give or do for ourselves either.
True.
Yep. Will this invitation to lay aside despair, to lay aside doubt in the capacity of the human heart, even your frustration and impatience. It's time to quit whipping yourself and others, no matter how noble the intention behind the whip may be, and start dancing instead. Will you join her, the wild red mother, in her exuberant play? You can choose to lead through joy, to heal through love, to transform suffering into what it is meant to be, the crucible through which ecstasy reveals itself. You know what? I think that folks have been whipped so hard that they find that statement right there a little hard to believe. But it is a true statement. It is really hard to do this internal work, especially if one has waited till they're 60 some years old to do it. There's a lot of trauma there to look into. But man, the joy, the ecstasy that awaits on the other side of that,
Yeah.
is just indescribable for me anyway. You can choose to lead through joy, to heal through love, to transform suffering into what it is meant to be, the crucible through which ecstasy reveals itself. You do not have to analyze to stay in the throes of process and ordered stages. You can just choose this passionate path now, if you wish. You are ready. It is open to you. Will you accept? It takes a great spirit, one with much practice of studied rebellion, to be ready to cast off the shackles of society from a place of loving defiance rather than fearful anger. And to playfully say to the world, I have tasted your stale bread and underdeveloped wine and have had quite enough now. And I'm telling you, that's where I'm at. That's why I don't charge for any of the skills and abilities I have. I've played that game and I'm done with it. When anybody comes to me, it's a gift. and you bring your gifts to me. We don't play on that tit for tat bullshit game. No, that ain't how I'm playing. I'm designing my own moving forward. And I've had enough of the stale bread because that's what it feels like to me. Any
Hmm.
and every time. That's old hat. That's been done. I don't want to do that.
You
I
know
don't,
what? You know what? Sorry to cut you off, but
no.
that right there, because I see symbolism in everything, and it also relates to the whole conversation that we just had.
Mhm.
Parasites, what we're putting in our bodies, things like that. And then also, the card that I got is repletion, and I had to look that up to see exactly what the dictionary says that is, and it. One of the things was eating in excess or fulfillment, again, what we are, and that's everything, not only food, but what we're entertaining around us, the people that we keep, the company that we keep, the things that we watch, the things we listen to. What are we fulfilling ourselves with? Not only feeling, but fulfilling ourselves with. So that's a really big theme in this conversation.
Say, and you just pulled something else really front and center on that one for me. Look at what the standard American diet, and when you add the other things in there that you just spoke on, the what frequencies are in your standard American diet? Are they well, and for those not in America, let me just say, because we do have some folks that tune in from other countries, and I will say this, because they're not exposed to the crap that we are generally, because I understand a lot of what we're fed is not even available over there because it's banned because it's so bad.
Yeah.
But the diet that we all consume is more than just what we put in our bodies. Is you're so right. What we listen to, what we expose ourselves to on the daily, on the reg, what including our belief systems,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, no, I do. I see all of that. What we were just discussing in here too,
Hmm.
and your repletion. There's a Could you hold that card up again for me?
So it's water energy, and then you have Mars going on up here. And like this feels like the path we take or the steps we take to get there, the action that we take to get there. Like, what are we going to do about it? But we also have the Pisces energy going on down here. So, I mean, it's
Right.
like leading with intuition, that concept of like following your heart, but you got to open your heart to be able to follow it. And I feel like that's a lot of what the red was, the red mother.
Passionate red mother, yes.
Yeah. Is
Yep.
like asking you to tap into that, to connect with that.
Oh, absolutely. Because it says here it takes a great spirit, one with much practice of studied rebellion, to be ready to cast off the shackles of society from a place of loving defiance rather than fearful anger, which is
Mm,
where I am right now. It's
yep,
loving defiance. I'm not trying to make anybody else do anything the way I'm doing it.
yep.
I am certainly no fascist. I am certainly no what's the communist. None of these things. I don't even I'm a I chose unaffiliated for the whole voting thing. I am a me and me alone, and and I'm not asking anybody else to do anything for me. No, okay. So we used to talk about this on Conscious Conversation Central quite a bit in the early days. I don't want no hostages on my journey.
Mm,
I lived a lot of my life towing hostages that didn't really want to be with me or do what I wanted to do on my journey. Come on, y'all, fall in line. You got to
oh
do
my
it this way.
God, that has been a theme for me. That's another thing I gotta take a look at. Oh
Well,
my God.
Listen, man, I'm telling you that, and there's a whole shit ton of hostages on the journey right now, collectively, that are allowing themselves to be at hostage. You know what I mean? They have decided that they are going to go with the flow of whatever that is and march along blindly behind it. And hey, I got no skin in that game. So whatever you want to do for yourself on that manner, you do for yourself. Just don't expect me to fall in lockstep behind you, because I've been studying rebellion and I'm defying all of that out of love, a rebellious feeling of love, not defiant anger. Because I really do, yeah.
I love
Hmm.
that. And you know what? That brings forward something I posted yesterday. I was like, yeah, I'm rebellious. Basically, I was talking about that in my post. It's
Yeah, you
funny that,
were.
and you know what? Like, I don't, this is gonna simmer with me all day because I've never been able to describe it in those words. I, I've never been, I know I have a rebellious texture to me, like it's just who I am, but it's never been in a defiant type of way. It comes from a place of wanting to challenge the status quo and, you know, build a better way or transform things into love, really, or experience that in a new way.
I and thank you for that, because you just helped me see a really huge thing about myself. Okay, and what I mean by this is, yes, I was the woman who stood up and said my way or the highway. I had to get to that point though, because prior to that point, that was a pendulum swing for me. Because prior to that point, 16, married the first husband, right into a horribly abusive situation, spousal abuse, verbal abuse, all of that sort of thing, right? And then left that one and end up even in a work, went from the frying pan to the fire, had a child with the second one, almost didn't, but did. And it was an even worse situation. And so it was a pendulum swing. I tried this over here. I tried what everybody said, the whole, all of that. And then, and it was never, I never left out of anger, or, I've said that before. All I did was stand around and cry. Why can't you love me the way I love you? What's wrong? What's so wrong with me? That kind of thing. Until with the pendulum swing, now I had a child in tow. Now I had responsibility, and you wasn't going to get to him. I would do everything I could in my power. Now I had a whole bunch of other experiences. Oh no, we ain't doing this again. It's my way or the highway. And if you don't like it, there's the door, right? And I kept that sort of an attitude. That's where that sort of developed that whole I've tried it. I know what's best for me, and you're going to do it my way or get the hell out, because I know this works. Well, energetically, on a lot of people feel that way about things. They think they know the right way, and they think that it's the right way for everyone. I had to see that for myself, that that's not at all the case. And I have the right, when it comes to me, my domain, my body, all of these things, my body, my choice, right? I only have control over me. I am the only one that has any control over me. And but I have to assert that control and handle me.
Right.
I can't be putting me into somebody else's hands, because then all I'm doing is giving away my power. And I've been there, done that. And so I love this here, that where it said about the casting off of the with loving defiance rather than fearful anger. And it goes on to say, and to playfully say to the world, I have tasted your stale bread and underdeveloped wine and have had quite enough now. I decline your offer to gorge upon lesser fruits. I prefer to feast upon bread hot and fresh, and wine that is mouth filling and unctuous. Join me, if you like. It is an abundant feast, and there is plenty for all. Even in the spiritually minded, there can be a driving fear, thinly veiled as devotion to the most arduous path. Perhaps for a while that serves as a truth of sorts, but eventually there will come a time when smaller truths must give way to larger ones so the soul can truly be free to grow. That's why I've always said we have to have that open mind. We have to be willing to consider other points of perspective from other points of awareness of the divinity. Doesn't mean that they know the best for me. No, but they may have puzzle pieces for me, which is why I always say, and I always feel very strongly that if you're drawn to someone, to something, to an information, there's something for you. It may not be the entire thing, but there's something. I have sit through, I was drawn to click on a video the other day, 2.5 hour video. I don't know why. I wasn't really attracted to the, what it, there was one thing in that video all the way at the very end that was for me. The rest of it was pretty much I already knew or whatever, right? But there was one thing, that one puzzle piece. And had I not simply followed that feeling, I wouldn't have found it. And so for me, this is a very poignant part of this, of opening oneself up, especially for the spiritually minded, because folks start thinking that, oh, I've made it. And no, that's not how any of that works. It's not a destination, it's a journey. It's why I love calling
I
it a
like how
quest.
you called it yesterday. You said it's a quest.
Yes. Well, ever
Mhm.
since I started looking at this as a quest, ever since then, that's why the puzzle pieces, because when you're on a quest, you don't really know exactly what you're questing for always. The learned sage sends you off on something you think it's one thing, but as you go along, you find it ain't exactly that.
You're right.
It's something else all entirely.
Let me pull something forward before we keep.
Yes, please do, because I only got about a page left of this, and I keep interrupting.
So, one part of that you said that there's more than enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
More than enough. I don't know if it said bread or something like that. But, okay, so
Uh,
there's a big message here because this one, repletion, is talking about what we fulfill ourselves with, right?
yes.
What we
Well,
take
yeah.
in. And then yours is like, okay, well, there's more than enough. And that calls into question this concept that I've been like kind of playing around with, like, um, let me see if I can bring it out in a way that makes sense. I've often questioned where in like, okay, my family dynamic, there's this concept of, um, let's call it greed. Let's say that because coming from poor, low income, things like that, I'm going to have to bring forward a whole story to even like present this. Oh my gosh. I never saw my childhood that way. However, my other sibling, he has a completely different story as to how we grew up. In his eyes, we were very poor. We never had anything to eat. We didn't have this, we didn't have that. And I never remembered it being that way, but I had an escape. I got to go to my grandma's all the time. He, however, did not. So he did have a completely different, childhood than what I did.
Yep.
And so, but even with that, and I said, well, I was telling my sister, I said, well, this must be true, at least in his eyes. And I can see now from an adult perspective, like, holy hell, we really did not have that dang much. It was so bad, apparently, and I do remember this, and this is the only evidence that my mind can provide that was like, okay, yeah, it was pretty bad back then. Um, we were going to fix our plates, and I had more fries on my plate. And he was so upset that I had more fries on my plate and that he didn't get enough, an adequate amount of food, that he punched me. And he punched me so hard in my arm, we had to go to the emergency room, and the doctor said if he would have hit just a slight bit harder, he would have broke my arm. He would have broke the bone. Like, and that is pretty extreme to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're that hungry. And that's the only evidence that I could like bring forward that's like, holy, like this really happened. Like, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So obviously, moving into adulthood, there's been this background subconscious feel of there's not enough. What does that lead to? I can see clearly now that that can lead to sustaining myself with all kinds of things. And I'm not even talking about food. When the body is starved of things like love, attention, nutrition, nourishment, all of those things that the body and the soul and the mind needs, you are going to accept and bring in and pull in anything that's going to place that, that's going to fulfill or feel that. So, like, that's a that's a huge thing that's happening within
Well,
this
you just
recent
pulled something else
conversation.
forward too. As far as I'm concerned, you're just loaded with it this morning. Listen, the body has receptors that if we don't slow ourselves down to consider, because ain't nobody teaching this out there. I'm sorry. I was an adult before I heard that if you don't love on a child, they will die. I never heard that. I didn't know. I'm talking about there are children, there are babies that have never been like held and stuff, right? And they apparently that's not you, you can't do that. So there are receptors that we aren't educated enough yet to realize. No one told me any of that. Now, luckily, I hope to God I cuddled and loved up on my son enough. I don't know because he is sure one hell of an angry feller. So, but I understand from a psychic that was what he came here to experience. So um, but there are loads of things just like that. What you're speaking on when we talk about that diet that we're exposing ourselves to, what are we not getting? We
Mhm.
don't know. There is so much information about our physical vessels that all we rely on these folks that are experimenting on us with the way they experiment, and they're looking for ways to make money, not to inform you of your own body of how. No, it's to fix whatever ails you to the tune of how many ever billions of dollars they can pull in. Ask somebody who was medically misdiagnosed for years what that looks like, because she knows. She knows. I'm going to finish the last part of this right here, and then I'll shut up because I do want us to finish this because I feel like there's more in this roomy one. Passion is the bridge. No, wait a minute. If even in the spiritually minded, there can be a driving fear thinly veiled as devotion to the most arduous path. Perhaps for a while, and there's something that wants to come forth on that too, because this happens a lot in the light worker field. Folks think again because this is a path that they followed, so it will work for everyone. And I say, no, no, no. First of all, you got to just give up on that. Create your own path. Whatever you're drawn to, there's something for you in it, but it may not be all of that either. That's why at the end of each one of these cards, there's a sacred ritual that they have. what is it called? Sacred honoring ritual. I never read that. I tell people if you're drawn to it and you want it, reach out to me, I'll send it to you. But the reason I don't, this is somebody else's ritual. Only they know what they intended for this sacred honoring ritual. You don't have a clue as to exactly what it is they intended. Words have frequential power. And until I understand exactly what that ritual is, it'll not come out of my mouth. Only the ones that I am internally guided to do for me are the ones that I participate in.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm not telling anybody not to. I'm just saying that's how I do it. And so, and again, this is one of those things where this is what I felt for myself. I personally think it's good for everybody, but
I say that's trusting your intuition, you know.
yep, I certainly
You're
wouldn't put it
you
on you.
are you are screening what you're absorbing. So, you know.
Right. And it is my responsibility to do so. I'll not put that on anybody else's shoulders. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because quite frankly, I did that and I got my ass in trouble with the medical industry, so there'll be none of that anymore. um, so perhaps for a while that serves as a truth of sorts, but eventually there will come a time when smaller truths must give way to larger ones so the soul can truly be free to grow. I think that's a true statement too. Passion is the bridge that leads you from a smaller truth that suffering is necessary in order to heal towards a larger and more luscious experience of life as a divine embrace. That's that. I feel like that's referring to the face and embrace thing. And if you run from it, you're just going to continue suffering. If you turn, face, embrace, and handle it, feel it all the way through. I feel like that's what this is speaking to. That is the divine embrace. Yes, sometimes the divine lover, in all enthusiasm for the sport, bites you too hard or grabs you with so much desire that a bruise remains. However, the passion behind such fervent embrace can leave you begging for more life, for more that boundless love, even when it knocks you on the head whilst grabbing for you. This is possible when you give up on judgment of what is good and what is bad, on what is apparently spiritual and what is not, and then and when you just realize everything in your life is leading to love, whether through caress or slap. The divine lover is seducing you. If you can accept this, you can certainly give yourself permission to love what you love, to live how you wish to live, and to forget about holding yourself back because some choices make sense and others supposedly do not. That's where I'm at, I can tell you that. If you are able to rise to the passion that is possible for you, you'll let the wild red mother consume your philosophies and doctrines. She'll feast on your religion and your plans and devour your doubts and certainties. She'll tear away your need for maps and directions. Just when you think there's nothing left, she'll grab your hands. She'll spin with you. You'll tilt your head. You'll tilt back your head. Nope, she'll spin with you until there's nothing left. Laughing and spinning with her together along with the earth upon her axis. With a daring and bold love for life that will not be quashed, that wild red mother speaks to you now. You can choose passion over fear time and time again. So I invite you to paint the whole world red with me, with passionate nature. Let us laugh and change the world. This oracle comes to you with a message. It is a big cosmic yes. It is an invitation to let go of suffering and struggle. I feel like this is our reward for coming here this morning, by the way, this right here. Okay, because you said kudos to us. We weren't feeling it exactly. I feel so much better and energized in this moment. I'm so grateful to you.
Well, listen to this. Something I want to say this before we move from it. I'm sitting here thinking. You know how I said yesterday. Now that we're doing this, we've agreed to play with the universe, and the universe is going to play back. So obviously, synchronicities are going to start coming through, right? Check this card out. The bees. Okay, it's kind of like the Three of Pentacles. We're working together. I've been having a lot of references to honey lately, so much so that every time I look up something, there's this perfume that'll pop up. The name is honey. I went to the store yesterday and got honey, which typically I'm not a honey person. I don't even know why I bought honey. But cool, got it. But I've been having a lot of references to that. But I'm sitting here thinking about it as you're reading that, and everything you're reading is like correlating to this symbolism with honey and us working together is providing that nourishment. And I'm like, okay, so what does honey mean spiritually? And I was thinking about like the sweetness that we take in. There's something about the magic of having the conversations that provide nourishment to the soul. In turn, again, there's this concept that keeps replaying for me, that as we bring that in, as we experience that, we're able to then, as we're working together, we're able to then create honey or absorb more honey out here in the world, the sweetness, because there's just something that takes place with these conversations that adds a little bit of sweetness, at least to my life. Like you're talking
Mhm.
about, it energizes you. And that's really truly how it feels. There's magic that's created here, and it unfolds out into the world. So there's a deeper thing that's taking place as we work together. And that's for anything, anybody here listening. There is something deeper happening than us just sitting here running our mouths. Like there is a just a, I don't even know how to explain it. We are working together in a way to create something sweet, something magical, like the essence of honey.
Well, I'd like to expound upon that a little bit if I could, because
Mm.
it's important that you shared that you were guided to get honey. Okay. And now I want you to know that the whole top part of my head just started buzzing.
Buzzing.
No, I'm serious. I feel it feels a little tickle on my teeth where my lips are, right? My lips feel, it's like they're being tickled against my teeth, right? Um, well, let's look at what honey is, right? Honey also incorporates, there's a lot about honey. People that have allergies are guided to get honey as close to their home as they can because it helps without, it's like an inoculation of what is bothering you in the surrounding area. It handles it. So, metaphorically, there's that part in regards to honey. But you personally being guided to get honey and the headaches and the lymph, you're being told to take some honey, in
Yeah,
my view. That's the way
obviously.
I would view that.
You know what's strange too? Like when we first got on here, I had looked at my eyes. I was like, my eyes look like honey. Like, I mean, and they do. Like they're an odd gold color, and this is not the color of my eyes typically. I mean, I have gold in my eyes, but it's closer inwards, and there's more green.
It
They
does look
look
more
like
gold.
honey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do. You're right. Well, there is something there about that because boy, that buzzing is now spread to my hands as well. That's very interesting. Okay, so we I got feeling we'll get more on that
Yeah, I think so
as
too.
we go. Yeah. Um, well, oh, this okay, so there is now again three people. There was four for a little while watching. There are three again. You shared that you woke up in the night. I woke up at 3:33 because I looked at my phone because I wondered if it was time to get up because I'd asked my body to wake me at 7:30 and it's still dark at 7:30 here or sort of, and so I looked. It was only 3:33. I feel as though this entire thing with the Wild Red Mother is issuing an invitation. This is issuing an invitation. So in many ways, oh wow, and your nose just started going. So that's a sign to me
Yep.
we're on to something there. So this is an invitation for folks to go deeper into themselves, but also I want to make sure that people know that's what we're here for. That's the whole point of having the chat. That's the whole you are invited to participate in these conversations because that's what the whole point is about to me. You know what I mean? So I this is an invitation not just for you and me. It's a much wider invitation. And I think that there's something there about that three of work, the three honeybees, the three of pentacles that you pulled out that is actually if the three people that are here today are the same three people that are here yesterday, you got work to do with us. Na 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 na. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, because we are both projectors. You and I are projectors, and right now I'm plugging into you, and you're plugging into me, and that's what's happening here in the human design way of looking at things. But I also say if you're attracted and this is an invitation, more than likely the reason you're here is there's something pulling you here, especially if you were here 2 days in a row. So let's see, where did I leave off now here? Sometimes the divine lover in all enthusiasm for the sport bites too hard, grabs you with no, that was way up there. Let's see. Whether let's see. This is possible when you give up on judgment of what is good and what is bad, and on what is apparently spiritual and what is not. And when you just realize everything in your life is leading to love. Yeah, that right there is the was the big tell for me experientially. When somebody over here tells me, "Oh, that's not spiritual," well, how the hell do you know what's spiritual for me and what's not spiritual for me? That's your opinion and your judgment, and you're welcome to it, but it won't fly over here because that's not how any of this actually works, for me anyway. Whether through caress or slap, the divine lover is seducing you. If you can accept this, you can certainly give yourself permission to love what you love, to live how you wish to live, and to forget about holding yourself back because some choices make sense and others supposedly do not. When you actually promise your innate, your higher, the one that's guiding you, that you will follow all nudges. Sometimes it looks a little crazy, sometimes it feels a little crazy. Um, but since I don't know what exact role in the universe I'm here to play, if I don't go where feel I'm divinely going, then I can't play that role because for me, I know that my quest is not to be revealed to me at the outset. Sorry, that's not how that works either. If you are able to rise to the passion that is possible for you, you'll let the Red Mother consume your philosophies and doctrines. She'll feast on your religion and your plans and devour your doubts and certainties. She'll tear away your need for maps and directions. Just when you think there's nothing left, she'll grab your hands and spin with you. You'll tilt your head back and laugh so wildly with her, spinning together along with the earth upon her axis. The daring and bold love for life will not be quashed. The wild red mother speaks to you now. You can choose passion over fear time and time again. So I invite you to paint the whole world red with me, with passionate nature. Let us laugh and change the world. This oracle comes to you with a message. It is a big cosmic yes. It is also an invitation to let go of suffering and struggle, not with regret or shame, but with gentle acknowledgement that it has had its purpose. It now has a bigger purpose, that of passion, which calls you to engage in the embrace of life with more abandon than ever before. And I want you to know that my parasites were just flashed to me. And I want to say thank you publicly to them because I'm still here. I'm aware that they are there. They obviously served a purpose, some purpose, and now it is done. So I wish to honor and thank them and ask them to help me move them along to their next iteration of life as to what it is. And I think that makes things much easier for all when we approach things like that instead of, oh, I hate them, get them out of me. I go to the doctor and I don't know what to do. And oh my God, I got these creepy crawly things in me. And why? Why go through all of that? Now is the time to let go of belief systems and, quote, needing to know anything. It is time to trust in the beating of your own heart and in the people, places, and experiences that truly move you, whether it makes sense or appears logical or not. The wild red mother comes to you when you are ready for her at a soul level. Your mind may think she is a thief in the night, ready to pilfer all you hold near and dear, and be utterly in terror at the prospect. But your soul will be gurgling with such anticipation of freedom, it will fill your heart with sweet love and urge you to let go. Let her have her way with you, even if it means she crashes into you in the dark as she fumbles and drags you half asleep to go out dancing with her under the full moon, wearing nothing but your animal skin and a smile. She'll soothe any bumps and bruises you receive in opening up to life with the most tender and effective ministrations. For she is just a tender nurse. She has just as a tender nurse as she is a wild, raging dance partner. This oracle also brings you guidance. You have divine permission to do something ridiculous. Be it ridiculous in your own mind. I'm sorry, but I see my grandmother standing right before me right now because my grandmother said, when my mom left me in the basement after my sister jumped out of her crib and fractured her skull, my dad had just come home from his uh, time at the base. My dad was in the Air Force, and we were living in her basement, apparently. I was only 2 years old, my grandma said. And she said that when that happened, they all ran, of course, out of the house and left me in the basement. Well, I wasn't allowed around the stairs. And so, of course, everybody forgot the little girl in the basement because of all what was happening upstairs. And my grandmother said she looked down there and I was standing at the bottom of the stairs screaming, "This is just ridiculous." I was trying to say ridiculous because they'd left me dead and I wasn't allowed to climb the stairs. So I don't know why I was just flashed that, but I was. So I will just say, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, I'm sorry, but that was just too cool that my grandmother just did that. So, without how ridiculous or inappropriate it seems, The more it moves you from your heart without rhyme or reason, the better. This is not about hurting people or behaving without moral code. And that's where everybody goes. The minute I talk about moving towards that which brings you the highest joy in each moment that presents itself, somebody always says, well, we can't all do that. Well, why? Well, what do you got in mind? Is it really bad? I mean, I'm sorry, but why does everybody jump to, oh, we can't do that? You know what I mean? And it's not about hurting people or behaving badly. Not at all. It is about childish indulgence and questionable justice. It is not about childish indulgence and questionable justification for letting the ego misbehave. It is not about the ego at all. The wild red mother eats ego for breakfast. This guidance is about listening to the truth of your heart and allowing your soul to throb with aliveness. Oh, oh, that's the buzzing, by the way. That's my innate feeling the body in such a way that I haven't allowed myself to feel.
Mm.
There's a blending happening, see, here for me with that innate, a blending that I haven't experienced before. That's that's why that called my attention to that. Allowing your soul to throb with aliveness, making that more important than any restriction, any opinion, judgment, or fear of the mind, yours or another, that of
Hey,
others.
hey, look, I didn't pull any of these, but I was going to. You remember we was at the farmer's market and I bought these.
Oh, yes, I love those.
I was going to like learn cartomancy, but anyways, the thing that I wrote on this says divine ineffable joy. And it was on the bottom of the deck. So when you said you feel that buzzing inside, and I thought about the bees again, your cells kind of work like bees. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And your cells are coming alive with that ineffable joy.
No, I think you're smack on about
How
that
cool is
because
that?
I think you're smack on about that because I I've been speaking to my cells in my body, as I massage my body with my oils and whatnot, most specifically around my legs because there's so much skin and fat cells there still from being 490 pounds. And so when I massage there, I speak to them, and thank them for, because I see in many ways exactly that, there have been those who say that rather large beings become that way because the body can't handle the divinity that's trying to get its foot in there. Now, I don't know the truth of that, but I will say to you that I was shown quite some time ago that my weight was a protection, that it was whether I packed it on there on my own because of whatever, and the different traumas. I know those also play into it, and thought processes and things like that. But it used to be that I, I couldn't figure out why I got to be so big and everybody else didn't, because I wasn't eating that much more than everybody else.
In one of my BQH sessions, I don't know why I get here lately. I've been having flashbacks. It must be time to do one.
Okay, so maybe you and I both
Must be
need to do
time.
one.
Yeah. In this flash of memory, eh, I remember, I think this was me and you too, maybe not, but I was told that, um, obviously, I'm a big girl, but the whole concept around mine is that I've been housing my light and not
That's what I mean.
shining or allowing for that. So I'm just expanding internally, but I'm not letting it out. I'm not letting it be shown. So there is still it's still an underlying I'm protecting myself, you know. So
Right.
it's still that same concept, but
No,
mine
you're
was
right.
more, yeah, just housing
Yeah.
the light.
Well, I know when I first started getting that message, I held it in one particular way. A protection from what is my first question that I ask.
I know
And
what mine is.
I was
I'm scared to be myself.
ah
I mean, I've dealt with it my whole life. Now, obviously, for me to be able to sit here on YouTube live and say, this is my fear, obviously, I've come a long way. So, you
well, again,
know.
attributable to the internal work that you designed for yourself and that you helped lead me through. Because your assistance in that for me, you between you and Lisa and these conversations, that's helped me turn the focus from out there to in here. And that's where all the good juju resides, is in here, you know? So yeah, absolutely. There was and I have witnessed, I have borne witness to what happens when one actually does get inside. The difference in the last 10 years of getting into, because like I said yesterday, I realized I was only really sort of hovering. It's almost like there's a portion of me that's so large, it's like a big girl getting in skinny jeans. Sometimes that's how it feels when I know that there's a larger portion of me coming in, because that's been my mantra for several years now. More of me into me.
Yeah,
That's my
that's
mantra.
what it feels like,
Yes,
literally.
it is, and that's what it feels like sometimes. Like a big girl trying to shove her ass and ask me. I know that feeling. Into some jeans that ain't exactly the right size. But yeah. Oh my gosh, Crystal. I'm so grateful you were willing to do this with me, and I hope that this has been helpful for at least the three people that have started this and are now ending this with us. Thank y'all so much for being here. Um, and I'm sure there has to be at least something in this for you, or you wouldn't still be here. And if you feel drawn to working with either of us, make sure just reach out. You want to come conversate with us? I open that up. Uh, gonna start having more public conversations with other beings who feel drawn. And I'm glad you put knewlightstreaming.love in the and I invite everyone to go and check out knewlightstreaming.love, www.knewlightstreaming.love. And it's KNEW if you're not seeing the chat. Because once we go off of live, that chat goes away for a while. I don't understand it. Whenever I go in, I guess there's some kind of processing it has to go through. But I also wanted to make an announcement about New Light Streaming Love YouTube channel. If you ever comment on any one of the videos that we do put out, and there will be more videos being put out, and you don't see your comment appear right away, the reason for that is that I went in and I think I told you this. I went in and set the channel so that the comments are held until a moderator, myself, Crystal, Lisa, have a chance to go in and view
You'll
the
have to do
comment.
that. I don't know how to do that.
Well, I did it, and I'll tell you why I did it. When I on Conscious Conversation Central, I didn't know that you could do that at first, right? And I had, a whole bunch of videos out, and there were comments being made, and I didn't know it. So if you don't set it to hold the comments, people can comment and you don't even know it. And if they ask a question, if you're not going back, and at that time I had over 100 videos already out, and I found this out, and I was like, well, wait a minute, that I won't know unless I go back and look at over 100 to see if anybody commented. Oh my God.
Supposed to
And
get notifications that tell you somebody commented on.
well, maybe they do it now, but back in 2017, when I first started it, they weren't doing that. And and again, I apparently could care little enough to try to find out how this all works. That I figured out how to set it to where you could hold them, so you have to approve them. Because there was also, I don't know if they fixed this or not, but YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, was allowing comments that had um, inappropriate links in them. And I didn't know if they were being put there by bots or whatever, but I didn't want that kind of thing to be exposed to my our group of folks either. So when I go in and see it's trash, I just trash it. Um, but all the other comments, I like to read them so that we know what we're getting, and then I approve them and let them out. And I go and check that every day. So just so you know, and so feel free to comment. And if you want to come on a conscious conversation, reach out to consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com, and we'll talk about that. And to reach out to any one of the members at knewlightstreaming.love, you can do that at knewlightstreaming@gmail.com. Um, I don't know why, but I'm feeling you pulling from your deck. Do you got a copy of your deck there?
No. It's in a
You don't?
drawer somewhere.
Oh, we have to rectify that.
I need to
Okay.
number them like you and print that out. That would be really helpful.
Now, I'm happy to send you the copy of the printout that I made. Then that way, all you got to do is turn around and number them, because it would be better for us to have the same numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll do that once we're done here. Well, I'm going to pull it then. I wanted you to pull it. Well, this one just, I mean,
I looked at the bottom of the deck of the elements deck I was using, and adjustment comes up. So I wanted to say, just to recap the reading itself and a big theme during this conversation, pay attention to what you're consuming, because there's a rebalancing of the body spiritually, physically, emotionally taking place, and you're going to have to play an active part in that and readjust.
yeah, boy, that's a true statement there. I can feel that. I can feel the truth of that for my own self really big time there.
And I say you, and I'm talking to me too. So,
Yeah, I no, I know. I
and
know. Listen, you and I both know that. Then anybody else that's tuning in, let me just, or well, the three people that still haven't left, let me just tell you guys this. The way I operate, and Crystal seems to as well, again, if you're drawn here, there's something for you here. Doesn't mean it's all for you, but so definitely this is for me. Every bit of these readings have been for me. Now, there will be some things in here for Crystal. There'll be some things in here for all of you. That's up to each to take what they. Well, you know what? My time during my time in Al-Anon taught me that you take what resonates and you leave the rest,
right.
because that is truly the way life is. It's not meant to be all or nothing this way. The whole point of having divinity divided up into 9 billion receptacles is to be individually unique and experience things from an individually unique manner or method. Have you ever seen the movie Dogma?
No.
Okay, you got to see it. And spoiler alert, God gets lost in a human body on earth. At the end, you figure out. And I'm telling you, the because the body went unconscious or something like that. Anyway, the thing of it is, for me, that's what this is all about. Is divinity experiencing its creation through each vessel it inhabits. It's a very infinitesimally small part of divinity, a point of awareness that actually operates that physical vessel within which each of us reside.
Mm,
That life force is divinity. It can be good divinity or bad divinity, your choice. But it is divinity
right.
on every score. And every
And
and if one accepts that and puts the quarter in, because right now all we're in is demo mode. We are in demo mode. As soon as we actively put the quarter in and get out of demo mode, and that's what I feel like this whole reading. It's an invitation to
mm,
get out of demo mode.
yeah. What came through for me is remember that you're a co-creator, and with that, you are supposed to be creating. So,
Well, I think yes,
invitation accepted.
yes, thank you. All right. Well, this one came out really big. Came flying out and it pulled another one with it and the other one fell on the floor.
Hmm.
So we're going to do both of these, but this one came first is card number 24, so that's a 6. You, that is love. Have you ever met the you that is love? You can find this you deep within your heart space. Here we go about the heart space again. A place free from the heartaches, pain, and suffering from life is there. A delicious sweet spot within you that matches the frequency of Source itself. Wow, I think we were just talking about that. The you that is love will whisper to you from time to time, calling you into its energetic swirls of peace, compassion, and comfort. It will also whisper, remember who you are. Don't forget from which you are woven. Don't forget what love itself can feel like. Don't forget to love the you that is love. This activation is a frequency of love, opening the heart, allowing this frequency to soothe the hurts, disappointments, and regrets as soon as you open your heart. Frequency code to align with the power of love that is within you, the love that you are. And I want to see if I can get this still long enough for folks to do a. You know what I got to do? I got to make it so that when I pull these, I can pull the image and it would be show the language a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's light language on this card. I'm trying to hold it still enough so it so that's something I'm going to meditate with this card today. For me, that's a big invitation to do that because we talked about this on Sunday. We talked about
The
this
past couple of conversations we've had.
yesterday.
I think
Yes.
I think this has really been a big reminder of that. Like
Mhm.
there's a truth we're coming back to. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I think the past couple of months we've kind of missed out on that or forgotten it or dismissed it or, sat it to the side because we're not feeling whatever. It's like we're coming back full cycle to it and being reminded.
Yes, and I Yes. And I think for my own self, there's been a fair amount of our, because I keep hearing timing as well. So I don't, I'm not allowing myself because I'm telling you, I have a big tendency to whip myself, like we just talked about before. And I'm allowing myself now to know that I can't screw this up. I can't. There is no screwing up. Things I thought I was screwing up before in my youth. Those horrific experiences that I went through in marriage number one and marriage number two, those horrific experiences and getting to 490 pounds are what shaped who's before us now. So if I feel like those were mistakes, then that means I'm incorporating a whole bunch of stuff that I viewed as mistakes. No, I might have labeled it as that then, but I think it was exactly the way it had to go down. Had it not, had any one of those things been out of place, I don't know. We can't, because things develop differently. So I'm not, there is a certain amount of my own oomph I know I have to put forward, which is what you're referring to. And it's a very, for me, it tends to be a very thin line between giving myself some discipline and whipping the crap out of myself because I feel like I didn't do whatever it was I thought I was supposed to do. That's a very fine line internally for me, one that I have a tendency to slip over into abuse of self. I wouldn't have classified it as that prior. But if I am standing over myself with some sort of a whip for an imaginary, I should be doing this just because I think that's what I should be doing, because let's face it, I'm sorry, but if there's a being on this planet that tells you they know exactly the right way to do anything, and I don't care what it is at this point, I'm going to say they're lying because they're guessing. You know what I mean? Or it worked for them.
Right.
It will not necessarily always translate to another being. Not all the way. And I know this now. And because of that, I've got a whole bunch of wrong information in here that I've been holding myself to account for and beating the crap out of myself. And I'll not do that moving forward. No, that's done. That will never happen again. So it's a very fine line between those two. And I feel like that's why that's why this is so powerful. That's why it keeps coming forward the last few days for both of us. Get in here, be gentle with Sheila, because poor little 2-year-old Sheila standing at the foot of the stairs in the basement saying it's ridiculous that y'all left me down here, you know, is still in there trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? And everybody else has been done the same way. And it's just we're all vehicles of misinformation, disinformation, wandering around thinking we got the right stuff. Which, at 63, I know I'm walking around full of incorrect information. Period. The end. I don't trust nothing I've been told at this point, except for what I'm told internally. And I get to do that for myself. So there's that. This is the last one that came out. And this one is the power of infinity. Infinity is boundless, and so are you. You are rich with opportunities at every turn. You just have to be willing to see them, activating your infinite eyes to see all possibilities. Well, isn't that what we just talked about? I can't do that if I'm still operating under a whole bunch of incorrect misinformation, disinformation. That's another reason why that's so prevalent in the outside world right now. It's a reflection of what I know is going on internally and why I can only listen to my internal innate. at this point. Activating your infinite eyes to see all possibilities. Do you recognize how far your soul has come? I do now. If you do, can you also see the many waves your soul can ride next? Oh, that's what excites the shit out of me, actually. The power of infinity asks you to make a choice, knowing that because you are infinite, the choice itself doesn't matter. See, you will always have other times to navigate the other choice, whether it be months from now or in another lifetime, even from a different dimension in time and space. You are infinite. That isn't a mistake. Neither is any of your choices. Activating the power of eight within you to lead within the heart, to lead you with the heart. Activating the power of eight to cultivate success in your life. Activating the power of infinity to align you with all of you. Now, here's the interesting part of this too for me. Let me see if I can get this up here. I just love this deck, girl. Eventually, we're going to get that deck out there so that more folks can use this for themselves.
I need to recreate it with numbers. But also, I think you remember how I asked you to go in there and proof all of those, and then we made some corrections through them. I think you might have the old format of each one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you remember that we went through and we proofed all
Right.
of them.
Yes, and I thought that was the final that I used to print this out from.
Did you go on Canva and use that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What I did was I copied them out of that and put them in Word because I don't know how to operate Canva to make just a list that didn't
Okay.
include, right? So, so because I didn't know how to operate Canva and all, I assigned numbers to them. Well, this is eight, but the number is not eight. The number is twice eight, number 19, which numerologically is a one, the I am, which dun, 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 is infinite.
Hmm.
So that was purely honest. All I did was take them out of Canva and number them right in the order that they were in Canva. That's all I did. So this is they numbered themselves. I didn't assign the numbers to them. I thought that was kind of interesting right there.
Yeah.
All of these, any of these too, by the way, that folks see can be turned into jewelry. I love these because they contain art, they contain light language and art that's meant to activate, which I honestly, I wear mine all the time. I still wear mine every day that you made for me. Wow, did you feel anything else? Because I'm telling you, I just feel so energized us being together, but I do feel the energy starting to recede.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, it's coming back to me. I don't know at what point what triggered this, but it's about love, right? And this was probably about a good 10 years ago. But anyways, this is back in the day when I used to like take myself out, go on a little date by myself. And so I was at this restaurant and there was a guy that was across from me and we started talking, right? And during conversation, which was very short and simple, nothing, dramatic or anything. And he was like, at the end where we were like done conversating, he was like, "I love you," and I was like, I must have gave him the strangest look because you're a stranger and you just said, "I love you," and I was like, he was like, "What? Why are you looking at me like that for?" People can say, I love this, or I love that. I love those shoes. I love that perfume. I love your hair. I love this. He's like, why can't I love you as a person? And I was like, wow, wow. Like that completely. And I will never forget that feeling that I had like, okay. That is so true. I can see her and say, "Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that." But we can't, it's taboo to say, "I love you." And also, it made me think about how I don't know about anybody else, but love in my family is so awkward. It's so weird. Not with my kids, but like and it wasn't always like that. But saying I love you to people felt weird, or hearing it back felt so weird because I feel like until you truly experience what that could even possibly be, it is weird. It is awkward. But being able to like connect with people on that level and see them, like really see them and experience them, and it's so easy to say I love you, you know it's just a completely different thing. So anyways, the point of me bringing that forward is the essence of love is being reintroduced to me, like right here right now through this conversation, because and that song the other day kept popping in my head. I forgot to be a lover. So that's true. These past couple of months, I have forgotten how to, on a daily, experience the love around me, within me, and to be that lover as well. So it's really cool how these conversations have just smoothed its way into saying, hey, it's time to make some adjustments in your life. It's time to take a check to see what in the world you're absorbing. What are you filling these spaces with inside of you, or filling those voids with? And there's that ultimate feel or act of doing, or what I want to create, or what I want to do, of bursting or cracking my heart open again because I forgot how to do that, or I forgot to be that, or you know what I'm trying to say.
No,
So
I do.
that's a really big reminder to me, and it feels, this feeling that I have sitting in this chair right here is the feeling that I had years ago, that these past couple of months I've been yearning for. And that's what it really is to experience myself as the love frequency that I know I am. And to see that in other people.
So you know what that means. You understand. I want to make sure that we pull this all the way out. You understand then that we both, just to be very clear, I'm not leaving me out of this, have been running and hiding ourselves, our love, our light.
I asked a question, what are you hiding from? Yes, I understand that.
And so it's also very clear to me that, okay, so in trying to figure out now, both of us feel a whole lot better. So, oh, dun dun nah, apparently this is what we got to do. At least for me, I knew it before, and I want to thank you for being here and sharing your love with me, because it also helps to tease mine out. But you draw full through bring a huge point, one that we will have to do a totally separate conversation about, and that is love. The word love. What does love mean?
Yes.
What is it actually? Because every living being on this planet has a different uh, definition, if you will, of love. And I know I've had this conversation before, and most people are like, no, you, that, no. Love is love, and you know what love is, and no, no,
Yeah,
um,
love can be different and it can have many different layers too.
exactly,
Okay.
absolutely, and when you were sharing that story, the first thing that came for me was you mentioned that he was male and you are female. I have told you I love you many times,
Yeah.
and it never phased you like that. But he was male.
Yeah.
And so you see there's a lot around all of that, right? All of that. There's a lot of good juju there to talk about,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I mean that would be a huge topic too. But I will say if I if it was today and I had that same experience, I probably wouldn't look at him like he's crazy and I probably would have been like, I love you too. You're awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like it's because now that I've experienced what to me would be a love frequency and and it equates to like a similar texture to like acceptance and allowing an openness for someone to be. You know what I'm saying?
yes, and my read of the situation with this other being, just the feeling that's coming through your sharing, expressing your portion of it, he was verbally reacting to, he didn't just follow your essence. He felt your essence and he remarked upon your essence to you. And and so there's a lot, that's why I say there's a lot there.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot.
And he was probably like in this space of such pure love for himself as well and like because that's an absolute mirror and if he was seeing and connecting with like my true essence, well, he was connecting with himself as well,
Right.
which
Exactly.
brings us back to that we are one yet singular, and this is divinity expressing itself through each and every one of us. And I feel like if anyone can actually experience that just once in their life, oh my God, my heart is like just throbbing with this. I don't know, like it's just the coolest feeling right now. But if you can experience that just once in your life, then I feel like maybe you can't put it into words, but you will know what a love frequency is.
I listen, I
Trust
feel you there because like I said, I've experienced that now myself. And I know the difference. And I also have felt the difference in the layers that you speak on because they are different. We each individuated portion of the all that is, each point of awareness of the divinity, of the whole of divinity that is in physical form, has had only those experiences in the physical form which have shaped the ego personalities, thoughts, feelings, judgments, everything about what love is or isn't. Right? That a moral code has been installed, so to speak, based on all the experiences that being, that physical vessel, that personality has experienced. That is what shapes that consciousness. How it reacts to different stimuli is based on how it was treated. That's
me.
what is meant by distortion of the divinity that comes in. The divinity is not distorted. The personality has been fractured and traumatized and doesn't know that it is ultimately divinity. And the ego thinks it rides shotgun or that it is the one in charge, when in fact, the ego, the personality does die away. That is what dies, is the personality. The divinity inside does not, moves on to another. The consciousness that I'm experiencing as Sheila, as the personality Sheila, is added to the soul essence that drives this vehicle. And when the personality of Sheila has finished upon this planet, the soul, the portion of divinity that resides within, takes all of those fractured, distorted experiences with it. Now, having walked it into wisdom, walked this experience into wisdom on what not to do the next time. Whatever I choose to do the next time, whether it's to come back here, to go somewhere else, whatever it is, right? That's what is the bigger conversation about love in general as we each maneuver through what we're doing here on the planet and what that is, because there's a wholly huge misconception about love, thinking that it's all light or it's all good, but no, unconditional love houses it all, which is why I'm being way more gentle on myself and knowing that we're all here for the experiences of it. Well,
Right.
we did get up to 5 people right now, and we've been here for 2 hours, so I'm going to cut us loose. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you are interested in being part of a conversation group to chat about love, because I want to wait till Lisa returns. She's out of town right now. But this is a really good opener for a conscious conversation Central presents. What is love? What is it, honestly? And how each of us perceive it is important. Moving forward, that's where we're going. In my view, that's what I want to experience, is the totality of it. And that opens it up for a lot of stuff. So thank you, my love. Did you have anything final you feel to share before we go?
No, no, not at all. I think we covered a good bit. I don't want to continue with the hot topic of it because we're gonna save it for another time. But
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love you. I love everybody that joined.
Yeah, I love you too, my love, and I do love everybody that joined, and stick around. I am recording. I recorded all day yesterday. I'll be recording all day today. I'm hoping to get because this one I told you this book right here was one of the most instrumental ones to validate Christ consciousness for me, and so I'm re-recording it so that I can put it out uh, right now because I had recorded it and had the channel names on everything before. So I'm re-recording it and hoping to get it all done and put it out all at once so folks can just listen to it like a book all the way through. So, all right. So will you be joining me tomorrow morning or will I be on my own, do you think?
Tomorrow you'll probably be on your own. It's co-op day, so.
All
But
right.
I should have time Thursday morning as long as we get up, early like we
Early
do.
enough. Okay. All right.
We'll
Awesome.
check in and see.
All right. Well, the plan though is for me to be here tomorrow on my own then at the moment. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Mwah. Till next time.